We are live again, another day, another life, another beautiful and deep conversation for sure. I wanted to come in like 2 minutes earlier to just set the ground a little bit. So the discussion today it's again about the most important relationship that we can have, that it is with oneself, with us, each and one of us with ourselves. And then I wanna invite you, if you are on like joining live, asking questions. So for each and every guest that I have and each and every conversation, if you have something that you relate with, ask question. I will be more attuned with your questions, because sometimes it's like hard for me. I'm getting in that discussion, in that conversation with the person in front of me. I'm so aligned and so attuned with the person, and that sometimes I'm like, okay, I forget to I actually see all the comments, but I forget to address this and to tell you that you can always ask questions. I really want to have your questions and to discuss around them. We had a couple of questions in different conversation. When I had a conversation with Elisa, Julia asked us some things. I just want to invite you to do that. And thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the replay. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for just your presence. And today we will have Ariel, so I'm gonna wait a little bit, like probably less than 1 minute. She will be with us. I have met Ariel Robles. She was one of my mentors in another program, because I invested a lot in myself, as you can see, and I really, the most important investment that you can do, like the most important relationship with yourself. So invest in yourself, so you can grow, so you can heal, so you can like really expand and stretch your mind and see things differently, from different from different angles. Yeah, and she she was one of my mentors in a program called Source Code 12 Weeks Intensive, where she's here. Hello, Ariel. Let's see. Oh, you have no requests. I'm gonna invite. Joining. Accept. What's going on? Accept. Hey!
Hello, my love.
Hello, I'm so happy to see your face.
Oh my God, it's so good to see you. How
Like,
are you?
we really
Wow.
to have you here and to see your face. And I want to start by saying congratulations for you and for your husband, and wish you both a long, happy, prosperous life, whatever that means for you.
Thank you.
From
That
the
means
bottom
so,
of
yeah, very exciting time in life right now.
Yeah, I believe it is. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so good. I'm so happy to be here. Um, After like all the wedding stuff, I feel like so spacious. It's so wild how much one thing can kind of take up so much room and space in your life. And now it's gone, and I just feel so open and spacious and happy and fulfilled and filled up. And yeah, I'm really
Mm.
good.
And when you say it is about like the preparation for the wedding, took a lot of space, like from your being and in general in your mind. Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. It was a lot of like creating, a lot of the creativity, and it was like I was birthing this thing for a whole year, and then actually getting to see it and be with it. It was beautiful. And we do that in so many aspects of our life. You know, if you do like a workshop, you're like birthing this thing, it takes
Mm.
up energy and space, and it's so beautiful and fun. But then afterwards, when you get to feel that spaciousness again,
Mm.
just like open space, it's like, ooh, like what's gonna want to
Yeah.
come through now? And yeah, it's a really fun place to be.
Oh, it makes me again so happy to have you and to have this conversation. And like I had another mentor from another program, Megan, and with you it's the same, like just having a tuning to your energy and you to mine, it's just all those feelings, the way you hold the container for us, for the ladies that we have been in after the 12 weeks. I remember just so much safety and your kindness. Ooh, I love it.
Taking that in.
Yeah. It
Thank
makes
you,
me
love.
feel like home, like, oh,
Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm just really taking that in. Thank you for saying that.
yeah, is here. Anya, that was in the, I
Anya!
Yeah, I
Oh my
had her. I had a conversation with her as well on my IG, and we keep in touch and we keep the
Wow.
connection. And we, after the program, after the container was finished, we start having our weekly discussion, me and Anya, and we tried at the beginning with Gary, and I'm
Oh, yeah.
sorry, I can't remember the name of the fourth girl.
Nora.
Uh, Nora, yeah, with Nora, but Nora moved, I believe, or she was like traveling, and then she wasn't sure if she could join us. So the discussion for today. But I before we start the discussion, I was saying that you were my mentor in one of Dr. Sam
Mhm.
Rader programs, and she invented this like this method to dissolve some patterns or defense mechanism that's called that we have from our childhood, that's called code. And one I can even like I had a little bit of hard time remembering the name of the most important pattern, let's say, that I had, and it was omnipotent, that I still find myself sometimes like attached to it. And the antidote is safety. That I was remembering. It was like straight away way in my mind because I always crave peace and safety. And but I was reflecting how I'm feeling about the omnipotent. It's still like it still remains a little bit there, but it's so much better. In the moment you come with the awareness and really do the work, everything changes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a huge part of like, kind of like when we get to our topic, that's such a huge part of it, right? It's almost like getting to know what your patterns are or the things that are getting in the way from you actually cultivating a safe home frequency or having that like sense of home within yourself. It's like, what are the things that are actually getting in the way? What are the patterns? What are the things that keep reoccurring in my life? And omnipotent was a big one for you, for sure.
Mm,
Um,
was yeah.
yeah, and it just warms my heart. Like the first thing that you said to me today, or like one of the first things was, I felt so safe.
Mm,
You just built such a safe container so that you can feel safe. And well, it's interesting. Like we'll still have some layers of certain things, but like you said, once you have that awareness, it's so much easier to come back to the self
mm.
rather than the style or the pattern or the thing overwhelm you or control you, which is really cool.
Yeah, it is. And I can like really catch myself when I do that. And I really catch myself. Remember when we had a session and I was like, were vomit, a lot of things, all of, and now I'm like, this happens to me sometimes, and I know when I'm really activated, when something big is happening or a lot of people are around. So I have my in-laws right now and there are triggers there, and I'm like, I can feel it. And then I start running or like breathing or whatever, do a lot of things. And when it's not working and I can really realize that it's not working, I ask for support, like really ask for somebody to hold the space for me, because I cannot, I need like the safe masculine container and the gifted masculine to just hold me for a while so I can like land. And
Mhm.
this is a big, but we're like a lot of, with Dr. Sam, that program was, and with you after, was so like you nailed it. It was right there, like the point on the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, was right there. And then I just brought so much awareness and did other programs and the like heal more and develop and grow more. And yeah, thank you for that again.
Mm.
Like really appreciate
I'm
it.
so glad you got so much out of that. That's incredible.
But you shifted, like you switch it now. Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit what are you doing right now? Because I'm really curious personally, and in general, I'm pretty sure you bring a lot of wisdom.
Oh, thank you, love. Yeah. So I still like source code is always going to be a part of my work and the core because it's just how I see the world now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've shifted and I'm no longer necessarily like a part of source code. I'm still involved in the sense of like still learning about it and keeping in touch with it because it evolves as well and it's incredible. But yeah, so now I have my own like coaching practice. I moved from being a psychoanalyst and a therapist to being a coach, and I do feminine and masculine embodiment and polarity work and a lot of somatic work with my clients. And it's a lot more like getting into the body and with like looking at your patterns, once you kind of like know your patterns, getting into the body so that you can start to move out of them and move through them and get into your own polarity inside, like your own sacred union of having that masculine, feminine part of yourself. And you know, if you feel like you're a woman and you want to be more in your feminine, like I assist you to get there because so many times we're so inner
Mm,
masculine when we're in our feminine, and there's so many men that are actually not fully in their masculine. And I love working with men and helping them get into their divine masculine. So I feel like I've definitely gone into my passion now, and
mm,
looking back at when I like first started out of like why I wanted even to like get into the healer's world as a therapist was, you know, my background is in marriage and family therapy. I always wanted to work with union, and it took me down this wild, weird path. It took me away from union. It took me away from couples into individual work, subconscious work, which is really necessary, somatic work. And now I'm like, I've found my way back to union, but in this very spiritual way. It's very different than just textbook marriage. It's way more spiritual, way more embodied. Um, yeah, I love it. It's incredible.
beautiful. And everything that you said, but can you explain a little bit about polarity? Because I don't really get it, like personally.
Totally. Yeah, so we both have everyone has both masculine and feminine energy. So I'll just share about myself. So an example was that in the past I was more of like a hustle person. I would just go, 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 do, take care of other people, wanting to get from A to B, just working out, not listening to my body, just, you know, taking charge. I don't need no man kind of thing, kind of
Yeah.
energy. And it worked for a while and it got me where I needed to be. But then I started to notice that my body was actually signaling to me and it was saying, slow down. And what I didn't know then, what I know now, is I was actually neglecting my feminine energy
Mm,
and I was so in the masculine. And it's unnatural for us to not have that balance. Like we're meant to have balance. We usually sway more on one end than the other.
yes.
So I had to really get in touch with like the nurturer in me, the soft part of me, the one that rests, the one that nourishes, the one that just like stops and allows the self to go deep down underground into the depths, into just feeling and sensations and being and not doing. So that's kind of like polarity within.
Yeah.
Um, so someone who is more in their masculine, who is meant to be more in their masculine, is the protector, right? Might be the provider, is the part of us that is the container, the boundary maker, the doer, the penetrator, the decision maker, right? And then that feminine part is more of that like watery, emotional,
Yeah.
soft, sweet, yummy place. Um, and when you're in relationship with someone, in order for a relationship to work, there has to be polarity. There has to be a healthy amount of polarity where you can switch poles. It doesn't matter. You don't have to just be in one. But what feels the yummiest is when one is in their feminine and one is in their masculine. It doesn't matter which gender you are, which sex you are, you can be either. But that's what feels so sexy and so yummy because that polarity, the difference, the opposites is literally what attracts us,
Yeah.
right? So again, like you can switch off, but a lot of times in relationships with like my clients, what I find is the woman is in her masculine and then the man is very passive, not actually doing anything. So the woman is making all the decisions and she's pissed off about it.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want you to step up. But then the woman actually isn't allowing the man to step up to actually be in his masculine because she's overriding and she's in her masculine. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to
Oh,
it. I don't know if that makes complete
yeah.
sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I knew, like, when you said about polarity, I didn't knew exactly that, how the way you explain it now, it makes a lot of sense. But I know about the masculine, the gifted masculine and the gifted feminine, because can be the distorted one as well. And I can relate so much the way you said it, that I was a lot in my masculine, and not the gifted one,
Right.
just to hold it. Sometimes yes, but a lot in the distortion, where I was like pushing, go, 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 try to do all the things, and then controlling things on top of like my omnipotent that was always there.
Totally.
And now it makes so much sense, because I can see this in the moment you were speaking about the relationships where the woman is a lot in the masculine. Just I had the flash from my relationship and from one of my friends' relationships, because it's so obvious now when we see these things. Before was like, no, it's normal, I'm gonna do all the things. This is who I am. This is like that identity that we take upon ourselves and just go. And it's like even a lot of pride in it. So I'm the one doing all the things, and then I'm just
Right.
frustrated. I'm just gonna show with my finger. No, I don't like that. But you don't. I realize this, and this goes to our discussion. The most important relationship that we can have, it's with ourselves. And the more, like, the way we shift things and the way we see and whatever we desire to feel, and the way we want to be seen and carry ourselves, is just gonna, like, the partner in front of us is just gonna mirror that back to us. And when I realized that, and I saw that my husband, the moment I realized that I'm overpowering a lot of times, like in our relationship, I'm the one overpowering. Well, it was like, oh, but I don't let him like really be who he wants to be. And normally he is the provider, like the masculine part of him needs to be there and like really make the space and the room for him to come and provide that. It was a big shift in our relationship, and for me to realize that.
That is
Yeah,
beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
And like, this goes along with our relationship, or our topic about the relationship inside that you want to cultivate. It's like, so often we're like looking at the outside and we're like, what can we change and control? And this needs to be different and that needs to be different in our external world. And actually, like you did, we want to kind of like turn inside and be like, how am I showing up? How
Mm,
can I actually, because everything that's inside of us is what's being projected outside. So it's like, how am I showing up? What can I actually shift inside to not necessarily control things and shift
mm,
things outside, but just to make things feel better, to just to have a safer place. Like, how am I actually showing up? So one of the things that, um, I learned with having to cultivate my own relationship and even with polarity, it's like, if I want to be more in my feminine, it's not so much like, oh, he needs to step up and he needs to do
mm,
this and he needs to whatever so I feel safe. It's like, what do I need to create inside of me to feel safe enough to
mm,
surrender, to
exactly.
fully stop, right? Like it's all about the insides. Like how am I actually cultivating my relationship to create safety inside rather than waiting for that outside thing to
Mm,
create it for me and then I can shift and then I'll get the thing and then I'll be happy.
yeah. Yeah, I remember Stevie Wright talking about this, and she said that her coach, Diana, I believe, said like, Stevie shared this like on her story, when she wanted to work on the relationship between her and her partner, the her coach said like, it's about your relationship with yourself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
always you have to decide, just let that person outside at the beginning, like for not for good, just metaphorically speaking, so you can go inside and see who you want to be and what is that you how you want to be seen and how you want to feel around the relationship. But it's always about you. Like, the moment you heal that and the moment you find the safety within you, then things are going to change, and person are going to calibrate to your vibration and frequency that you are. But if you want, exactly what you said, that if you want to control and say no, do that, and then the person is just gonna, it's it's just gonna come with more uh, material, like force energy, pushing energy, because it's gonna calibrate to whatever you're sending. And if it's pushing and matter to matter, it's gonna be the same. But the moment you said, like you said, you surrender and you're like more in for you, they're going to feel that energy, and they're going to, some of them, yes, they can calibrate, some of them not. And
Mm-hmm.
that's their work. You cannot control that for sure. And if you want, it's just going to go back to this,
Mm-hmm.
at least feeling.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's true. That's what happened in my relationship like years ago. You know, I had to recalibrate inside, and it was my first big realization of, whoa, like I have to actually work on myself. Like put a pause on this relationship. Not that I'm pausing the relationship, but just put a pause on like putting so much energy on that relationship and focus on this relationship. Like, how am I showing up right now? What is it that I'm wanting, and how do I want to actually show up to this relationship? And that's when things started to shift, right? When I actually started to work on myself, when I started to know about my patterns, when I started to understand, like, oh, that's what I do, and this is how I show up in the world, and I actually don't want that, and I do want to shift. And it started to also just bring so much more compassion to
Yeah.
myself, right? Once you start to actually know what your patterns are or know certain aspects of yourself, you get to actually look at them like this. It's a part of you, it's a younger part of you that's
Yeah.
acting out, or that's in, stuck in some kind of developmental trauma, maybe actual trauma. And you get to just have so much more self-compassion for yourself. And that's when that starts to like cultivate that self-love, right? Of like, oh, this is just such a sweet part of me, and I actually want to spend time with it. Let me
Yeah.
actually be here, wrap my arms around it, and take care of it and tend to it. And then it starts to alchemize and change
Mm,
within you. And as that starts to change inside, then yeah, your outside start to change, right?
yeah. Yeah. This is so real. And it is with not in just the relationship with the partner, but in general, like our, exactly what you said, the relationship with us, we get triggered. I get triggered with a lot of things still.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that sometimes, like, those parts of me that weren't met when I was a child, there are so wow loud sometimes. Ooh, sorry. On the phone was like sleeping a little bit. They are so loud, and the more like you try to push them down and push them under the rug, it's not going to work, because they're going to come like with another intensity, like another wave of intensity, and the feeling is going to be like even more visceral in the body. And the moment you like stay in stillness and slow down, you take a step back and really attune to that and really feel into that with a lot of love and compassion. And this wasn't easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it still is hard sometimes, because in my mind I had this belief for so long that, because I had growing up a lot of situations that were difficult for me, I developed that resilience to difficult things that were like, oh, it's okay, just move on, go on with it, it's okay. But actually it's not, because for other people that is really hard, like, and harsh. And for me it was so normal that I need to really intentionally take the time to stay with that part and acknowledge that part, that like, okay, it's okay now. And I had, the more you go and work on yourself and work with others, you realize those parts in you so well. And it's like, oh, okay, now I had the discussion with my husband probably a year and a half ago, and I was saying that I had, yeah, I was in your container then, and I was saying that I had all these parts that are coming to the surface, and he was like, no, I don't have anything, I feel so good about my childhood. And after like a couple of months or a year, he was like, oh no, I'm people pleasing and I'm doing this and this. And I was like, yeah, just let's just have compassion for everything, because it is what it is. And we're not gonna, it's not about shaming or blaming at all, it's about reparenting yourself in such a loving, sweet possible way, if you can, and
Mm-hmm.
really take the time to do that.
I love that. And I love how you said, that you had to take that like intentional time. Like you
Yeah.
had to be so conscious. And that's where like your own inner healthy masculine comes in of like, we really need to like set a container and a frame
Yeah.
to process and to feel and to get into that yummy feminine space, right? Like that nurturing space. And there's something else you said. It'll come to
Yeah.
me. But when we actually build that self-compassion and that love, we're also not grabby anymore. Because
Mm.
so often when we're feeling something, if we're triggered or if we're wanting something, we do have a little bit of like grabby energy, or we're expecting that the outside thing is gonna fix it or do it for us or give it to us or make us feel better, right? Like that outside thing is kind of
Yeah.
controlling us. And when we're actually able to have the space and to just go inside and just be like, hold on, what am I actually feeling right now? Whoa, let me really feel it in my body. What am I then needing? Right? Like, what am I actually needing? What's gonna really make me feel so nurtured and seen right now? And it
Mm,
could be the feeling, it could just be literally sitting with it, like you were saying. It could be like, wow, I really want to just go out in nature and just spend time like with some trees, or I really want a delicious meal, or whatever it is, right? But like you're allowing yourself to give yourself the needs that you're seeking. And then from that place showing up into the world, it's a completely different embodiment. You're no
yeah.
longer like grabby and you know, like this. You're
Yeah.
more like this, and things just start to come to you, right? And it's
Mm,
wild, like the love and the relationships that you can build from that space, from just being so connected to yourself and already so resourced and nourished, rather than expecting the outside to like feed you or do it or get you the thing. It's coming from inside.
yeah. And this works so well with manifestation as well. Like, and I can relate with this so much. Like, really, and with the relationships and everything that you have in your life, even the material things that you want to manifest. Like, the more you're like, oh, want to hold. And I know that another mentor is always saying, like, open open your hands and let it be like light. Let don't let the fear be heavy in your body, or the doubts or the worries or the stress or the anxiety, whatever, lightly in your hands and just open it. As Dr. Sam, oh, Dr. Sam always said, like, open your openings. I still remember that
Yeah.
all the time, that it's so true, and it goes with everything. And I just wanted to say to everybody that it's here live. Thank you for being here. If you have questions around the relationship that we have with ourselves, the feminine, the masculine, just ask us. We are here for that. And I want to ask you something else. So I realized lately that in my relationship with my friends, you remember that I had discussion around this, like with my closest friends, let's say. Sometimes I feel now less and less and less. Um, if we, let's say, disagree on something, or they have an opinion in a relationship, oh, the men are always going to be this way, I catch myself not wanting to respond. And then I was like, no, no, no. I'm just going to say it kindly, the way I feel it, because this is my truth. And I'm going to be in integrity with what I believe is true. I'm not going to put everybody in the same box, because I don't believe that to be true. And nobody's going to trick me into something, like in a relationship. If I want to accept something, I will accept. If I want to say, I will say it. And I just sent the message, and I was like putting my voice there with what I believe. Because sometimes for us, it's so hard. We tend to be in this, like, in this, how can I say, like a pattern or a story. If we don't attend to the inner child and those needs, then it becomes a suffering and a story, and we keep perpetuating that story. And when somebody is coming and reflecting in a beautiful, kind way, but saying the truth, whatever is true for that person, you have the chance to, like, really shift that, if you desire, of course.
Mm-hmm. That's gold. Um, yeah, and not even necessarily, and I know you didn't mean this at all, but like just to say it, like not necessarily to even like change the other person,
Yeah.
but to just one, it's your valuing yourself. Two, you are trusting like I love myself enough and I trust that the love is going to stay. And if the love goes away, that's okay. It wasn't meant to be. Like there's like an okayness with you actually showing yourself and allowing yourself to be seen and felt. And then you're also allowing ripple effects of change to happen if they're meant to happen, right? So when you take a stance of like, actually, I have this different opinion and this is what I actually believe to be true, someone might just say like, fuck off and just leave and not want to take it at all. But someone actually might have like an aha moment of like, oh wow, that actually does shift, or that does make me see myself in a different light. you're actually allowing yourself to be a mirror to someone else's stuff. And I think that can be really, really powerful. Also really painful sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do it and to allow yourself to really step into that all the time.
Yeah.
It can be hard, but it is really beautiful when you're in that embodiment and you trust yourself enough to step in, and when you cultivate safe relationships, right? Like the more that you step in that way, the safer the relationships are, because you are so true to yourself that people have like no other option but to accept you if they're in relationship to
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, it gets to be unconditional, like
Yeah.
unconditional love.
Wow, this is so true, because when I started this journey with coaching and self-development, like my friends, they have had zero interest in this. And
Mm-hmm.
I cannot say that I was hurt, but in a part of me wanted to share more. But then when I realized that there is no interest, I was like, oh, that's okay. But also in time, a part of me was like, okay, I want to say whatever I believe. Like, I really want to say that, because this is who I am. And now I'm at the point, it's not that I don't care about you and no, it's more like, this is who I am. This is my identity, and I'm going to speak out. I'm not going to bring all the deep conversation all the time, even though I really enjoy them. But when it will be the case, I will say what I think, because it's not, and I really want to emphasize the word integrity. I really want to be in integrity with who I am, because if not, I'm like, a part of me is here and there, and even my brain is not gonna know who are you, like what's going on here. Like one time you say this and the other time you say, and then I don't feel good, like inside. It's a feeling that it's like bothering me, and I don't like that. I don't have to develop the conversation in a lot of layers and peel the onion, but I can say whatever I feel like saying, and I always encourage everyone that I'm guiding or helping or like being a mentor to really speak their truth,
Mm-hmm.
because that feeling of liberation and freedom is like priceless.
Yeah, and again, that comes from like cultivating that relationship with yourself
Yeah.
and building that safety inside, right? Like what we're talking about isn't easy to do. And
Mm-hmm.
you have to have a really solid sense of knowing and safety within yourself to be able to step into the world and be okay with, whatever might happen, and to really have that integrity with yourself. And in the past, I definitely wasn't able to do that. There was a lot of fear, and I've had clients that really struggle with that too. Like there's a lot of fear of being seen, a lot of fear that the love is going to go away, or, we have to kind of mold ourselves to be what the other person would want us to be, more of that like people pleasing.
Yeah.
And so much self-care, so much nourishing, and so much really cultivating that safety inside to love yourself enough, and for me to really build a relationship with something that was bigger than me, like, and I do this with my clients, of building a relationship with nature or source, God, universe, whatever resonates, right? Of like, you are so supported, so held, so loved, so safe, right? And you are meant to speak your truth. You are meant to be in this world as uniquely as you are. um and again, like, I can't say that's enough, but like so much safety has to be felt inside. And a lot of it is nervous system work too. Like really being able to like self-soothe and know that you are okay and you are supported and held.
Yeah. And this goes hand in hand, like with those little parts, the inner part, the inner child had some needs and the need wasn't met. And
Mm-hmm.
the moment you really bring love and talk and stay with your inner child, I remember having a feeler, like somebody holding the space for me. And I realized that one, one little toddler inside of me, Adriana, I don't know what age, probably 5, was like hiding in a corner, and she was like, I want to be seen, but I'm afraid. And I felt it so intensely during that filler. And I was like, just really hugging myself and talking with her, like, you're safe, I'm here. And always for me, what goes and helps me is to hold her hand. This is what I'm doing with the twins and with our 3 daughters, like really holding the hand. This is probably like like a proof of love for me, for my inner child. And then I do the same with my kids. And I just hold her hand and I said, like, come with me, like, we are safe now. Again, with that safety that you're saying, and bringing back into oneness in your body, those little parts, like really again and again and again, until you make so much space for the new to come in and to create even more. And this is such, oof, I have chills. It's such a beautiful feeling. It is not easy, no, because if you don't ask for support and really stay with it and go to that place that sometimes is so painful, like nobody wants to see a little kid suffering, or most of the people, like you don't want to see, and even more your inner child, like really, it's like a cringy moment. But you go there, the moment you go there and really hold that, the little child inside of you goes back into oneness, and then the world is beautiful again.
Oh my
This
God,
is
I have full body chills too. So I see the same thing when I do the work. I like see myself holding like little me, like holding her hand. So beautiful. And I love that you said, yeah, like it just it brings integration, right? So there's no more of this resistance or like the fear or the activation. And it's more of like you're holding that part's hand and it gets to be okay and it gets to feel safe because they are such little parts and they're searching for like the big thing to protect it. And when we actually are able to like embrace it and like get bigger than it and hold it and be with it, it's like, okay, I am okay. I am okay. And something that you've said a couple of times, which is really important too, is like, there's so many things that you can do on your own to build your own relationship with yourself, whether it's journaling, meditating, feeling your feelings, going for walks, whatever it is. But the main thing that helped me and that I just recommend with everyone, and I think that you might agree with this, is getting that support,
yeah,
right? Like really having someone hold you and even model to you like what it feels like to be held, what it looks like to be held. Like I'm sure you do this with your clients. I do it with my clients of like I will literally hold their little parts
yeah,
so that they can feel it and they can see it, and then they're like it's like okay, I can do that with myself now. Like they get to a point of being able to hold themselves,
yeah.
because if you really don't know how to do it, then we can be talking about it and you can think about it, but actually like knowing how to do it is such a different
Oh,
experience.
yeah,
And it's so like I'm so grateful for the support that I've gotten in my life, because it was like the huge turning point of like, whoa, I get to be held and these parts are innocent and they're sweet and I love them. What?
mm,
This person loves them. That means I can love them. They're lovable. Um, yeah, it was so support is so, so, so important.
yeah. And so many of us, we don't really understand that. It's like, oh, you need somebody. Oh, you need, like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm always, I cannot do this. No, it's too hard. You hear so much of that, and it's so sad for me, because it's actually just, I just hold somebody I remember that was really activated, like really crying, and at some point I was like, can I hold this? Like a part of me, I was out of my body and the loving witness was somewhere here, and like I was there, and I just heard like my loving witness saying, can you hold this? Like the inner child, in a way, or my fear, was doubting a little bit and saying, I don't know, and I don't know. And then I was like opening my heart. I can even like go back to that moment. I just opened my heart, dropped there, like really grounded, and of course I can hold this. And she just let it all out,
Wow.
and that was so beautiful at the end. It is amazing to really hold somebody in their process. Yeah,
Mhm.
it is. And to really mirror back that to them and let them be seen, and really being so attuned to that person, you're gonna the person will benefit, of course, but you're gonna
Mhm.
exchange of energy. It's such a beautiful process.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I love what you said. Like, of course I can hold this. Of course I can hold this. Right? Like, of course we can. And that's a beautiful thing. It's like, that's what you just start to learn in your life. It's like when something really intense happens or scary happens, it's like, of course I can hold this. Of course I can drop down and really hold this. And sometimes we might need some extra support, right? Like, that is totally okay, totally normal. but really like allowing yourself to drop into your body and like expand to hold the sensation, to hold the feeling. Like something that I love doing with myself and with my clients is like if something feels too overwhelming or too big, I will literally imagine myself like dropping it down into my womb space, because the womb literally gets as big as it needs to get. Like it can stretch and it alchemizes, it creates, it literally like it's this thing that's like a portal. It can literally hold whatever it needs to hold, and it knows what to do with it. Like the womb just had like it knows what to do. So when something feels like too activating, I'll drop it down into my womb space and it's like miraculous, but it starts to decrease the sensation. And then I'm actually able to come back online and really hold it, like really
Wow.
hold it. Um, really cool stuff. Recommend trying it if you haven't.
I will do that. Yeah. Wow. So you're saying that the way you build the relationship with yourself, or so you can, let's say, shift the relationship with your partner and other relationships, so you can hold more of everything that you desire, even with manifestation, business, kids, a household, whatever. Even this, like the wedding, is the safety that you've created first, and then you were attuned with your patterns and everything that was like triggering you in a way. Can you explain a little bit, like a little process of how you done it over the years?
Yeah. Yeah. So my first step was realizing it was like an awakening. Like I'm not showing up the way that I want to be. I don't feel safe. I don't feel good.
Mm,
And as a part of me that was wanting the outside things to change and expecting them to change. And I was like, no, this isn't working.
mm,
I need to actually go inside. And when I went inside, I realized there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of sadness. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe, and I'm wanting something outside to make me feel safe. And I've always been really introspective of, I have my psychology degree, like
yeah.
I've always been so internal and able to do things on my own, but it was the first time that I was like, I need outside support. I need someone to show me the way. And
Mm,
I had Dr. Sam was my support. I had Sam really help me and hold me, but that's when I started to just recognize my patterns and see what was happening. But I started to like create safety inside of like, if I wasn't feeling good, what is actually going to make me feel safe right now? For me, it was nature. Like I was living in California. I would go to the mountains. I would go to the beach. I'd go to the sand. Anything that would just allow me to start to feel safe in my body and drop down in my body. And the more safe that I felt, like physiologically, the more that I could actually allow myself to see my patterns, like my triggers. So, like, I would recognize, oh, this is coming from that childhood thing, and now I'm acting out in that way, and I'm wanting this thing to change, but actually, this little part actually just really needs to be held by me right now. Let me just really hold it and be with it. And I would journal like a crazy person back in the day, like so much journaling, so much self reflection, so much compassion, so much love. And what came out of that was a sense of okayness. Like, I'm good. I don't
mm,
need anything. I have everything that I need inside. I'm able to get it myself. If I really need support, I have someone who is trained and knows how to support me and do it, and it's an exchange, right? Like I'm literally like paying this person, like there's a support there, versus me just leaning on my partner, leaning on my friend, like fully just leaking out to everything. It was like I had that containment and that structure of I know this space, if I really need support, I can get it. But I started just to feel okay. Like there was nothing else that I needed. And what was created from that was more of this like laid back energy of like, I'm good. There are things that I want.
mhm.
I want a happy relationship. I want a home. I want, friends. Like there are things that I want, but there was nothing that I like needed.
Mm,
So from that space of just being okay and just solid and grounded and content and peace, like at peace with my life, things just started to shift and change. So my partner, my now husband, totally shifted. Like I was recalibrating and he could see it and he was like, I need to recalibrate or I'm out, essentially.
Yeah.
Because that's how okay I was. I was completely okay with
Mm.
whatever needs to fall away is gonna fall away. And I am okay. That's how safe I feel. That even like the person that I love so much, if he needs to fall away, he needs to fall away. Because I feel so guided, so supported by nature, by source, by me, by my support that I had. I'm so okay and I trust that anything that is going to come my way, it's either going to serve me or shift me or gift me, like that everything was just happening for me. Um, I'm kind of going on a tangent now, but um, yeah, so basically getting that support, creating that safety, carving out that time, like you said, like really having intentional time to just like be with myself. And I think another huge part of this was having boundaries, like huge boundaries of saying no to people, really listening to myself. And like you said, having that integrity and reverence for myself of like, do I want to do this thing or do I not want to do this thing? And really listening to my body just created even more safety, right? Because my body, my insides were like, well, I can really trust you. When
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do something, we don't do it. And when I do want to do something, we do it. So you're just more relational with yourself. Like it's like
Mm.
my well, my first relationship is with God, source. That's my first. My second is with me. It's like, really listening to myself. And my third is with my husband. And then
Mm.
from there, it's like family, friends, and all that good stuff. Right. But it's like, how can yeah, just a lot of safety inside.
Yeah, no, no, it's so beautiful, everything that you said. And I bet even in the moment you shifted from like being a therapist and with source code and now going, let's say, into healing and coaching, the moment you've created that safety for you and you made the space when you lay down like on your chair, for me was like the energy flowing and the space that was made for you, for everything, like for other people to calibrate, you to be in your power, connected, grounded, and connected from here and there, like with the source and the earth, the mother earth as well. And then everybody who wants to come or live, that's that space here. And
Mhm.
the tree. Wow, this is such a beautiful visual.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really beautiful. It's like I feel so supported all around. It's like I feel supported from like above and all around, like from God,
Mm,
and completely below from, Pachamama and Mother Earth. And we just have one life. Like literally, I mean, depends on what you believe in, but like we just have this right here. It's like just this present moment is what we have. And yeah, I'm gonna completely not choose myself in this like screw people or whatever, but like just be so in integrity with myself and my purpose as like a co-creator with source and nature and just really trusting.
mm. I saw your posts. They are so deep and so beautiful, and the walks that you have in nature. And to be honest, lately, for the past year probably, I feel so much connection with nature. I've never
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm a runner now. I started last year, and I have a year since run like 5K 2 or 3 times per week. And this is part of me right now. And when I go in the park and with all the colors and the beauty and the birds and everything, I even have a squirrel that's almost always there. See her, and it's so, and a hawk. And now I can see like a lot of signs, and I'm taking the time. My energy shifting. I'm trusting more my energy, and I'm like really taking the time to take it all in, but like titration, zip, step by step, zip by zip, because I'm still like sometimes I'm feeling like it's too much for my nervous system. I just need to ground myself so I can let
Mm-hmm.
everything in and integrate. But it has been such a beautiful process to connect with nature. And I've always believed in God, but now I'm realizing that my relationship with God was more like when I was a kid in Romania. I was an Orthodox, and it was all like go to the church, believe in God. And when I had a problem, I was asking God for something. And it's still a process there for me to like, I've always believed in a higher force, and deep inside of my body I can really feel it right now. It's that love and in a way respect as well, I can say. But it's still a little bit of like fear from religion and all the things. And I wanna like for this year, the lab like the last couple of months of this year and the next year, I really wanna go deep with that, to see, to find my way to God from like in and out, to
Mm.
see that what that even means for me.
Oh God, I love that. I love that so much, and I really resonate with that. You know, when I like God wasn't a thing for me, and then when I started to become spiritual, it was like universe and source, like that feels really safe. And just recently in this past year, it's been God. Like I've really found my way back to God, and not necessarily in like the Catholicism or Christian
Yeah.
way, but I've really cultivated like a relationship with the masculine, the
Mm,
masculine, and really learning to be in my feminine with that masculine, learning to be led, learning to be guided, and allowing, trusting that things are going to be given to me from this space of like really receiving, which is fully being in your feminine, is fully receiving, and
yeah.
also taking action when you need to take action. Um, and I think, you know, all of that comes, all of it, the more work that you do, like the more that you cultivate that relationship with yourself, like this kind of just starts to naturally happen. Like you start to just naturally,
Mm,
like you said, you're
yeah.
like so into nature, and like I get it, and it's so beautiful. And nature was my first step too, and then universe, God came after that. So,
Wow.
and yeah, I'd love to talk to you more about that too in the future if you want,
Yeah.
because I,
I will love that. I will love that because I just watched a podcast that was all about God, and I was like, I try to attune with myself to feel what is that I'm actually feeling. What is my relationship? Not just the words and the stories that I had from before. And was a fear there, like a fear to go deep. And I just realized, okay, it's not the time to like really whoop into it. Anya says that she will love that. Was more like, okay, let's take it easy and see what's there. Because I feel like it's part of us. And what you said, the masculine, to be guided and to be in my feminine, wow, this was so beautiful. Like I've never thought of that, even though we know like God, it's a man, like it's the masculine, but was for me, I've never thought that, okay, he's the masculine that can hold that loving container, and it was always there holding the container. Wow, thank you for this, and thank you for this beautiful conversation. But before you go and asking where people can find you, I want to ask you, I remember you said at some point, but this is just a curiosity and it's not deep, like you said that you want to go back in California at some point.
if God, if God takes me there.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know yet. We're just trusting right now. I'm still in New York right now. Hopefully, eventually going back to California. I don't know. We'll see where we end up.
Yeah.
Right now, this whole year has been a lot of surrendering. So this whole year has been a process of like really being initiated into my feminine and just like fully trusting, fully surrendering,
Wow.
not needing to control everything, not needing to know what the next step is, not needing to know
Mm,
everything, and just
mm,
letting the path unfold and feeling safety in that, with the
yeah.
masculine. So I don't know the answer yet. We time
No,
shall
this
tell.
is the most, this is such a beautiful answer because I feel for 2024, like, where everybody like has goals, like money goals and things, a lot of things we have in general that we desire. And for me, it was like, no, it's a mix of peace, harmony, abundance. And I just want to be held with everything, with the money and everything. So your answer goes so well. Like I totally can relate with that
Mhm.
because it's coming from the inside and I really can feel that.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you. Yeah.
just one last thing, like
Please, please.
even like the money thing, like sometimes we want the finances so that we feel safe, right? Like that in itself, it's like an outside thing. It's like, oh, I need to feel more safe inside. And again, like the more safe that you feel, the abundance will just come.
Yeah.
And then it sticks because you're already the safe thing. It's not like this outside thing is like creating the safety. It's already inside, so the money gets to stay.
Yeah.
You're just attracting it. So
This is,
thank you so much for this. And I just lied. One more thing.
yeah.
I just really wanted to say to you, I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
You are like, oh my gosh, since the last time I saw you, I mean, you've always been like so like shiny and vibrant, but you have really been allowing yourself to be seen. You
Yeah.
have really been showing up and just being so consistent and just so loving, and you're doing it. You're doing the damn thing. So I'm just so proud of you, and I love you so much.
Thank you so much. And I love you so much. Like, this really means a lot. And I know I'm like, thank you, Anya. I'm like, really, I've come a long way. I feel that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna take this all in, because it's not easy to receive exactly what you said. This.
Mm,
We will have another conversation, because we have so many topics to talk
I
about.
know.
Where people can find you?
So right now, just my Instagram. It's I don't know if you tag it on here or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna tag it after
Okay,
the.
great. So just my Instagram, DM me, reach out. Happy to just have conversations and to support.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, you will want that, because the space that you create, even like your voice,
Mm,
it's such a beautiful place to land,
mm,
really to feel seen and like hold that mothering energy. It's wow. We all
mm.
want that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I love
Oh
you.
my
Have a
God,
beautiful.
I'm sending you a squeeze.
Me
Thank
too.
you, love. I
Thank
love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.